Bonjour tout le monde, I hope you are well today. That's a long time that I haven't made a video. I was very busy this last month, so I apologize. Today the topic will be logical connectives. Logical connectives, also known as connecteurs logiques in French, they are words or expressions used to link together different ideas, clauses, or sentences in a logical way. Okay? They are used to show the relationship between different parts of a text and to help readers understand the writer's meaning. There are many types of logical connectors, each of which has its own specific meaning and usage. Some of the most common logical connectors include conjunctions such as a, mais, and so on, which are used to connect two ideas of equal importance. Other logical connectors include adverbs such as bien que, etc., which are used to show the relationship between two ideas of different levels of importance. In addition to the function of linking ideas, they can also be used to signal a shift in the direction of an argument, to contrast different ideas, or to emphasize certain points. By using logical connectors effectively, you can create a more coherent and structured piece of writing that is easier for readers to follow and to understand. Sorry for this long introduction, but it was necessary to remind you what logical connectors are in French. Now let's see 10 logical connectives and when to use them. Allons-y! Donc, the logical connector donc is used to introduce a logical consequence or a conclusion that follows from what was previously said in the text or conversation. For example, j'ai travaillé dur toute la semaine, donc je suis fatigué. In this example, donc connects the first part of the sentence j'ai travaillé dur toute la semaine to the second part je suis fatigué by showing that fatigue is the logical consequence of hard work. In argumentation, donc is often to introduce a conclusion from a premise or a set of evidence. For example, tous les chats sont des mammifères. Félix est un chat. Donc Félix est un mammifère. In this example, donc, connects the two premises to conclude that Félix is a mammal. It is important to note that donc should not be used excessively or abusively, as this can make the text of conversation redundant and unclear, and it is preferable to vary the logical connectors to give more nuances to your statements. Alors is a French logical connector that can have different meanings depending on the context. Alors is used to express a consequence or a logical sequence of events. It can be translated as so or then. For example, j'ai fini mon travail, alors je peux sortir. Alors is used to introduce a new topic or to emphasize a point. For example, alors, que fais-tu ce soir? Or, alors là, tu me surprends.
Oh man!
Alors is used in a formal or argumentative context to indicate a conclusion or a consequence. For example, le texte est très clair, alors nous pouvons conclure que l'auteur est contre cette mesure. Mais it is a logical connector that is used to indicate a contrast or an opposition between two ideas or statements. Here are some examples of how mais can be used in French. J'aime la pizza, mais je n'en mange pas souvent. In this example, mais introduces a contrast between the speaker's liking for pizza and the fact that they don't eat often. Je voudrais sortir, mais il pleut. In this example, mais introduces a contrast between the speaker's desire to go out and the fact that the weather is bad. Il est intelligent, mais il manque de confiance en lui. In this example, mais introduces a contrast between two traits of the same person. Cependant, Cependant is a logical connector that is used to introduce a contrasting idea or a counterpoint to a previous statement. Here are some examples of how cependant can be used in French. First example. J'ai étudié beaucoup pour l'examen, cependant je n'ai pas réussi. In this example, cependant introduces a contrasting idea that counters the expectation that the speaker should have passed the exam based on their level of preparation. Second example. Le film était très bien réalisé, cependant il manquait un peu de suspense. In this example, cependant introduces a disagreement to the positive statement about the movie's quality, by pointing out one of its weaknesses. Second example, il a des talents indéniables, cependant il manque d'expérience dans ce domaine. In this example, cependant introduces a contrasting idea that qualifies the previous statement about the person's talents. Par conséquent. Par conséquent is a logical connector that is used to indicate a logical consequence or conclusion that follows from a previous statement or argument. This is some examples. Je n'ai pas étudié pour l'examen, par conséquent, je ne suis pas prêt. In this example, par conséquent introduces a logical consequence that follows from the fact that the speaker did not study. Another example, le projet a été bien géré, par conséquent, il a été livré dans les délais. In this example, par conséquent introduces a logical consequence that follows from the fact that the project was well managed. En outre, En outre is a logical connector that is used to introduce an additional point of argument that is related to the topic being discussed. Le projet est bien avancé. En outre, nous avons obtenu des financements supplémentaires. In this example, en outre introduces an addition point that is related to the fact that the project is well advanced. Another example, le restaurant est très bien noté. En outre, il propose des plats végétariens. In this example, en outre introduces an additional point that is related to the fact that the restaurant is highly rated. Pourtant. Pourtant is a logical connector that is used to introduce a contrasting point or argument that contradicts or qualifies what has been said previously. For example, j'ai étudié beaucoup pour l'examen, pourtant j'ai échoué. Pourtant introduces a contrasting point that contradicts the expectation that studying a lot should lead to passing the exam. Il a l'air en bonne santé, pourtant il fume beaucoup. Here, pourtant gives a contrasting point that qualifies the first statement that the person looks healthy. For example, nous avions prévu de partir tôt, pourtant nous sommes arrivés en retard. In this example, pourtant introduces a contrasting point that contradicts the initial plan to leave early. Bien que. Bien que is a conjunction and it is used to introduce a subordinate clause that expresses a contrary or unexpected fact in relation to the main clause. I give two examples. First, bien que je sois fatigué, je vais faire du sport. Here, bien que expresses a contrary fact to the main clause, which is the speaker's intention to exercise despite being tired. Second example. Elle est partie en vacances bien qu'elle n'ait pas beaucoup d'argent. In this example, bien que implies a subordinate clause that expresses an unexpected fact. The person went on vacation despite having limited funds. D'autre part, the conjunction d'autre part is used to introduce a contrasting or complementary idea to what has been previously studied. For example, je n'aime pas les mathématiques. D'autre part, j'adore la littérature. We can notice that the contrast between the first sentence expressing a dislike for math and the second one, which like for literature. Another example. J'ai beaucoup de travail à faire. D'autre part, je suis content d'avoir un travail intéressant. In this example, d'autre part introduces a complementary idea to the first part of the sentence, which is the speaker's workload. En revanche. You use en revanche when you want to express a contrasting idea to what has been previously studied. Here are some examples. Je ne suis pas très doué pour les langues étrangères. En revanche, je suis bon en mathématiques. In this example, en revanche, introducing a contrasting idea to the first part of the sentence. So, je ne suis pas doué pour les langues étrangères, which is the speaker is not good at in foreign languages. Another example, cette voiture consomme beaucoup d'essence. En revanche, elle est très confortable. In this example, en revanche, introduces a contrasting idea to the first part of the sentence, which is the car's high fuel consumption. The last example, j'aime beaucoup voyager. En revanche, je déteste faire mes valises. In this example, en revanche, there is a contrasting idea to the first part of the sentence, which is the speaker's love of traveling. Thank you for watching this video. If you think that content was interesting, please thumb up, share it, leave a comment and subscribe if you are new here. I see you à la prochaine pour une autre vidéo. À bientôt!